long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Which also might happen to be your neighbor's backyard.
From which we watch you.
With creepy stalker binoculars.
Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, everybody.
How's it going?
That was a creepy podcast intro.
Yeah, that's our intro. We're gonna switch it up. Yeah, so over here, starting from left to right, we have our Dungeon Master.
Reti.
We have...
Disposable Pilot Person.
We have...
Do I have a name?
Yes,
Kaz Odok.
that works. And I am your host, Attar Tyro.
Tyro Attar.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This
So,
is why you'll never be more than an apprentice.
shut up. Anyway, this is more of just a discussion about what we have done tonight. We just got done with one of our, I would probably say one of our best chapters in our campaign.
You only say it's the best chapter because you got to kill your nemesis
I
like
didn't
4 or
exactly-
5 times.
Okay, granted I might have poltergeisted a few times, but, you know, it was worth
no
it.
one on that.
Poltergeist is when we just take back what we said, like, after like 3 seconds of talking.
Yeah, well,
Poltergeist essentially being just kidding.
We made it up for ourselves. You just shout out poltergeist when you did something you don't want to actually have happened in the campaign.
Yeah, it's pretty much our way of saying just kidding, but it's indicative of us. You know, you do something ridiculous and then you shout
David.
Poltergeist, and
It's
all
not
falls
a
apart.
reset button for mistakes, though. Usually.
Okay, ready?
Usually,
This campaign, it seems to have been misused or this game.
it was abused.
Okay,
Yes.
just going ahead. Ready? Don't speak, not understandable words. You're using like dictionary words here, and a lot of our audience probably doesn't know what indicative means.
yeah,
Especially the
and
ones
here's
sitting
our
next to
disposable
you.
pilot person that
I
is
know
trying to
what
be smart and
indicative
failing.
means.
Our disposable pilot person apparently thinks very lowly of our audience, that they don't understand the word
Well-
indicative. I happen to have a very high opinion of our audience. I think you guys are the bomb. I think that you understand every word that comes out of our ridiculous mouths.
Also,
So I think
I was
you're
talking about
in the
me
middle
more than our
intelligence,
audience.
but you're definitely not too intelligent.
We don't want too intelligent people in our audience.
No.
Then they'll know when we're being stupid.
I was talking about me.
Alright, okay, continuing on. Like I was saying, I would definitely say this is one of our best campaigns. Not to mention, probably the longest, single part that we did. We usually have 2 campaigns that run, mine and Reti's, and then we have Kaz Odok and Disposable Pilot Person doing their own campaign.
But since your first character, the Mandalorian Karaku, was abducted by dominatrix hippie chicks, and
That's not true.
And then your second character, Tyro Attar, was kidnapped by his crazy Sith masters, you're really not in any of the campaigns except for in cameo appearances, while the rest of us are struggling without our tank and our caster, respectively.
Okay, so to start with Karaku, he may have been abducted by the dominatrix chicks, but who would honestly complain about that? And along with Attar, I mean, he was just being heroic. I mean, he might be a Sith, but he figured out that without the rest of them to figure out what is going on with my Sith masters, I would be dead at any moment. So
So he's being selfishly heroic.
I'm being selfishly heroic. It's all about me in this case.
Your heroism is all about you.
Absolutely.
That is the dumbest thing I have.
You don't have to agree with everything that I do. And along with the Mandalorian, I just got done beating up our disposable pilot person.
That must have been like the highlight for you, since you tried to kill him, last year?
Yeah, it was a while ago I tried to kill him, but
So you turned on him for no reason. You tried to kill him.
No,
and
I
then,
had the
and
reason.
Then, hang on. And then he escapes. You put a bounty on his head.
for 30 million.
He shows up at Boba Fett's front door, claiming to be the guy with the bounty on his head. Boba Fett just turns to you, who's conveniently in the house, and he's like, "All right, pay up. I caught him." And you go from trying to kill him, to putting a bounty on his head for dead or alive, to threatening to crush his face with Mandalorian crush gaunts.
Okay, for the record, my character's intelligence here is only about my lowest ability score. So
Like
it might,
-2 or something?
yeah.
Kaz
So
at least had the sense to run away and not go to the Boba Fett's house.
This is Kaz Odok we're talking about, who swallows his own hand.
This
It's
is
for
gonna
a
make
good
a lot
reason.
of sense.
Sometimes he swallows his hand for a good reason. I mean, there are certain things that he swallows that he just cannot have in his stomach.
Point taken. On a slightly more serious
Just
note,
to clarify, he has a robotic hand that extends like
Yes.
a grappling hook on a.
So he swallows hooks.
okay, so just for the note and record here, we are missing 2 of our people.
Oh, yeah.
We're missing what's his face, Rash'Leer, and
It's like Ragu or something.
I can never remember his name. He was a late addition, but he's got a funky name.
He does have a pretty funky name.
He's also the youngest of us. That helps with the funky name.
Well,
He's
technically,
early enough that I
technically,
doubt he'll ever be here late enough to be in one of these.
another thing to add, I am technically the youngest of our, cast here, so you can't blame me for being stupid.
No, we can, because at your grade level, you're supposed to be mildly more intelligent than you have been. At least mildly more. Like, at least 2 IQ points would put you above retarded.
That's
okay, that's offensive.
That's pretty
That's
offensive.
offensive. Okay, so we were talking about our campaign.
Okay, just to
Our
clarify,
campaign-
me and what's-his-face have really bad blood. So, yeah.
You'll
continue.
probably pick
Ready,
it up
go.
that Tyro Attar and Disposable Pilot Guy don't get along.
No, it's more Karaku and Disposable Pilot Person don't get along. His name is Vizar Malk, by the way. That's Disposable Pilot Person. He probably doesn't want you to know that, but I just had to put it out there.
I don't mind.
He tried so long to conceal that name.
Well,
and
you
then-
guys forgot it so many times, I figured if you're going to keep forgetting it, I'm just not going to tell you anymore.
You forget the names a lot early in the game. They're weird
Yeah,
names.
you forgot my name, and then you just
Right, but-
created a nickname for me, and
Yeah, but-
you kept with it.
But
And so,
seriously, at this point, Disposable Pilot Guy is way more memorable than Vizar Malk.
Like, everybody remembers the name I called you.
If you try to hide your name, people forget it.
well, I hope so, because it's a really bad name.
Then why'd you pick it?
Alright.
I was just
Okay,
making
more
stuff
serious.
up.
Let's get
Arguing.
Slightly more serious. Okay, so at this point in the campaign, this is sort of my Dungeon Master editorial. They're hurtling into the depths of Kessel. That is to say,
The mall.
the group that Tyro Attar was in, which now consists of Reti, Navar'rog. That's our
Navar'rog, that's his name.
That's our youngest guy, Navar'rog.
Technically, he's
and
older than Disposable Pilot.
Rash'Leer. The 3 of us are hurtling down into the mines of Kessel with a pilot who was just unfrozen out of carbonite. He's pretty much blind.
We think he might be Han Solo, but he also could not be.
Also, another thing, the era we are in is after Episode 6 of Star Wars and before the Yuzhan Vong War. So
It's just
just before the Yuzhan Vong War.
This is what happens when you get a person that doesn't know much about Star Wars trying to talk Star Wars.
Oh, really? I bet I could get in a Star Wars
okay.
debate with you and no more.
no Star Wars trivia here. Okay, we are talking to an audience.
Okay.
So this group is hurtling down the spice mines of
So,
Kessel.
audience, post comments about how wrong the Star Wars information in this video is.
Yeah, we want to hear this, because you're going to be wrong in the end, so...
Tell us how we're noobs.
Okay, so this group of Sith hired the 3 of us, Reti, Rash'Leer, and Navar'rog, plus Tyro Attar and a couple of
I wasn't
others.
hired. I am your apprentice.
We were sent to track down Sinkhole Station. Those of you who have read the latest Fate of the Jedi series, you understand. They're trying to free Abeloth and take her power, which, as we all know, cannot and will not end well. We're hurtling down the spice mines of Kessel. We're about to find the Bogey Nest, which was located in the book Outcast.
Yeah, we're having to fight through energy spiders, which is not fun.
Yeah. Well, in the other campaign, you had our 2 friends over here, Kaz Odok and Disposable Pilot Guy,
Vizar Malk.
Who are the most intelligent people in the galaxy.
who were trying to get the price off their heads. They went to Mandalore, stole a ship from the Mandalorians.
So the price on our head was put there by Karaku, who got mad at us after we ran away, after he tried to kill us, after we stole the Book of Sith from the Jedi Temple.
Very confusing information.
Yes.
But they went to Mandalore. They stole a Mandalorian ship to fly to Concord Dawn to confront Boba Fett in an attempt to find Karaku, who obviously hates their guts and wants them dead.
Well,
in an
there was a
atti-
good reason for this story. Let me give you.
No.
Hold on. Let me give you why I absolutely hate the guts of this little insect guy over here.
Disposable Pilot.
My character is actually species-wise an insect, so.
Verpine.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Okay.
Back at the beginning of the game, he has not once proven to me that he was useful. And so I decided that in my mission it was okay to dispose of those that were not useful.
Also, for the record, I had my foot somewhere under the table, and
That is not true. Do not
he
tell them
did
that.
not. Yeah, because my foot was under the table, and he just decided, oh well, I don't like your foot, being there, and so he started kicking it, and then he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna kill you, because I'm that awesome and powerful. I'm just gonna kill you. It's gonna be done and over, and you know what? Screw you. And so I flew away, saved my own life, and he just hates me from now on because I
Okay.
would not move my foot.
Along with the foot thing, there was the reason of he did not prove his usefulness.
As you can tell, we're all veteran D&D players with very professional standards of play here. We can manage to separate our personal lives and feelings from our characters' actions and reactions.
Okay, there's a reason that he has the name Disposable Pilot Person. He did not prove his use. He was disposable. I didn't need him.
I saved Navar'rog.
What?
Saved Navar'rog.
He's a giant T-Rex-like creature. I'm pretty sure that he could have done it without you.
They are both
he got
brothers.
passed
They hate
out.
each other because they are brothers and they have a personal anger against each other. That is what the whole.
It's been built up
Argument was
over like years and years of time. So
Yes.
Okay.
And just to clarify, this is not D&D.
technically, it's not Dungeons and Dragons. This is Star Wars Dungeons and Dragons.
No, because there are no dungeons nor dragons. Well, unless you count crate dragons. But we haven't faced any of those yet. So
Okay. Well,
I've got plans. For
going
this.
back to my
It is a
point.
Star Wars RPG made by Wizards of the Coast that is no longer being made.
Yeah. Okay, and a couple of things you need to know is our dungeon master also plays a character.
he plays
but-
two characters. No, he plays a bunch of characters.
Well, he plays one of the actual characters who is one of the main characters called Reti, who is Toydarian, and he's kind of like our
He's
business
fat
guy.
and short, so I call him Short Round most of the time.
See, as the dungeon master, I have to play all the NPCs. They have difficulty separating my NPCs from my character.
I do not have difficulty doing that. I understand the difference between a character and a NPC.
Of course you do, because you're just so smart at this game.
Alright, so they went to Concord Dawn. They confronted Boba Fett to try and get the prize removed from their heads. That's pretty much where their story left off, with Disposable Pilot Guy begging for mercy. And
He was crying a little bit.
And receiving
I told you to imagine I was crying. I was not
And-
really crying.
And he received that mercy from Karaku, who has agreed to let them go and not stick him in a blender. It was all very peaceable, and after...
And I lost 30 million credits on that. I'm
and
not
af-
going to swear.
After Disposable Pilot Guy ran away, in comes Kaz Odok to the rescue.
Who does not know that this happened. by the
Yeah,
way.
he has no idea.
He confronts Boba Fett, and Boba Fett is so annoyed with the stupidity of the last confrontation, he just shuts the door in Kaz Odok's face. And Kaz Odok, being rightly afraid of Mandalore, turns
He
around and
almost
runs away.
shot the window open. He almost shot the window
He
open.
had his
but
blaster
because he is a coward, he ran away.
Playing cowards is way too much fun.
It is pretty good.
The only reason he is separated from the main group right now is that he was a coward and he ran away when he saw Karaku attacking Disposable Pilot Guy.
Which I thank you, because without your 5 million credits, we wouldn't have gotten farther than
Yes.
we wouldn't be off Coruscant.
Okay,
really.
hold on a second. I just want to make sure that this is clear. I didn't let him go without a hitch. Of course, I still threw him across Mandalore's room, and then I told him, I never want to see you again or I will kill you. So, it's not like I let him off without a hitch. There's
Way to make yourself sound so tough.
I am tough.
I threw him across the room.
I am a 12-foot UZM, okay? That's not a small kind of guy, and I'm pretty mean. My diet is these little insect guys that are...
I'm not a part of his diet.
You are. You can be part of my diet. I include anything that moves and I don't like a part of my diet. So, anything that presents itself I can pretty much eat. I'm pretty sure I could become an omnivore, but screw veggies.
So now you're a little bit caught up on where we are present day in our campaigns. I'd like to ask, Do any of you have any ideas for where you'd like this to go?
Oh, see, this is what happens when our dungeon master runs out of ideas. He's like, "Oh, I need the outside influence."
You know, it's actually
It's like the time where he asked where his character Reti, the character went into a dark room to steal. What was it?
The Book of Sith?
No, it was the
a code breaker.
The code
Yes.
breaker.
He went into the dark room. He comes out, and then he asked us to tell him what he found. I sarcastically said that he found a spleen because he's the dungeon master. He controls what's in the game. I sarcastically said he found a spleen, and he went with it.
Look, it's a very delicate balance when you're walking the line between playing a character and playing a dungeon master, because the temptation is always there to have your character play both narrator and protagonist because he knows what's coming. So I have to walk a very fine line, which usually means leaving it up to these bozos what happens, or asking them what they'd like to happen.
Also,
And therefore, we found a spleen.
one thing I'd
That-
like to
that was
say
weird.
before we get too deep into you being a dungeon
Spleeniness.
master is
Your royal
the
spleeniness.
two people with the top comments can submit. I'd like to ask them to submit their personal theme song for us and
Oh, yeah, we need theme
image.
songs.
We need an image for our
No,
cover.
Really, we don't.
We need a
We
theme
don't need
song.
an image or a theme
Okay,
song.
we don't need an image, but any ideas for like stupid things that we could do for a theme song would be pretty cool.
Really, we don't need those. I'm just gonna cut this whole segment out.
You know what?
No,
segment
no,
Okay.
nothing's getting cut out. This is being
Damn
submitted
it, it's already
straight.
done.
Yeah, it's done.
It's done.
All right, so now we're back to the discussion about where you'd like this to go.
We had to delete a part out of there.
Is there anything you want to see happen in the campaign that hasn't happened already?
Are you
already said
you're
that.
talking to us as players?
Yes, and to any commenters who have any ideas, might be a little bit deeper into the Star Wars lore than I am, might have ideas.
If you're a total Star Wars nerd, we love you.
Yeah, that. But right now I'm asking the three of you,
You
I'm
diehard
asking
fans.
Disposable Pilot Guy, Kaz Odok, and Tyro Attar over there, if you have any ideas you'd like to see in
Well,
the campaign.
I'm
I'd like
surprised
to-
that Kaz survived this. Kaz and Disposable Pilot Guy didn't survive this.
Yeah.
But I don't see how they can continue because because things we've skipped saying include stealing stuff from very powerful Mandalorians.
Like spleens.
Not spleens. They
Like-
nicknamed their old spaceship that they blew up themselves the Spleeninator.
Yeah.
That was a stroke of brilliance, by the way. Stealing a shuttle with a cloaking device and blowing up your ship that had all of your possessions and, shields.
And then totally forgetting to destroy the tracking device inside the ship that they just stole.
So
We still have a tracking device in our ship, and we're still going back to a. I don't see
They
these
just can't get
characters
the
continuing.
perception to actually find it. They don't have a high enough possibility.
See, here's the funny thing is, you might gather from these characters that they're really, really dumb.
Okay.
But then you talk to, you talk to the real Disposable Pilot Guy or the real Kaz Odok, and these two, they tend to think things through. They tend to think around problems and find solutions. It's almost like they have to dumb themselves down to play these
They really
characters.
do.
I don't
Kaz is
think-
supposed to be an idiot. It's fun to play an absolute idiot.
Exactly. That's why I enjoy thinking in my campaigns, but honestly, the point in playing Dungeons and Dragons for me is to
It's not
lose.
Dungeons and Dragons. You need to stop saying it's D&D.
Just shut up, okay? Just shut up. I'm getting really annoyed with your interruptions.
I'm getting annoyed with your stupidity.
So
This is why our characters are trying to kill each other.
That's a definite reason.
I play this game to lose myself in my character and to not have to think.
Oh,
to
you lose
react.
yourself, all right.
Screw you, man. Okay. I want to do this to do that. Okay. Oh, and
What?
before someone interrupts me again, let me get this last thing out.
Blah.
The one thing I want in this campaign is more species and more nature and more things like that, because we have been in like a dozen cities, and through most of the Star Wars lore, you don't find them in cities enough.
Are you kidding me? You've been driving around the galaxy for the last 6 sessions.
Yes.
You could have landed on any number of wild planets and gone
But there's no
exploring.
point. I want it to be a part of something like a quest.
You want your quest to be go explore this jungle.
He
Okay.
wants D&D to become Star Wars. He wants to somehow merge the two.
I want.
Explain.
Don't get
Tatooine.
exasperated.
Tatooine is a
A
place
desert.
where you
It's a
find
desert.
all kinds of unique species and different things. There's like a billion possibilities that you could have.
Yeah,
on
such
Tatooine.
as like there's a smooth rock over here, and then there's one a little bit smoother over here. And
Being
there's a lot of
chased-
sand.
being chased by a crate dragon and then jumping across the Sarlacc pit. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
So you're saying you want an excuse for our characters to go to Tatooine?
No, I'm saying I want an excuse for our characters to, experience more of the species and the unique parts that are Star Wars.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't see how these
Got it.
characters can continue, because I don't see any way they're going to get back with the other group, because they've made everyone want to hit it.
How did you stumble upon us last time? You were just like, let's go to this planet, and boom, we were there.
No, okay. First, they contacted Lando Calrissian.
And then
Who-
stole something from him.
Who Kaz swallowed his own hand in front of.
Okay, so they contacted Lando Calrissian. They asked him for a job. He gave them a job at one of his factories on the planet Dathomir. They go to Dathomir, which just happens to be the place where Reti, Rash'Leer, Tyro Attar, and Navar'rog were hunting for rumors and stories about Sinkhole Station. So
We found a bunch of naked witches.
They found each other on that planet, had this ridiculous chase that was
We killed a rancor.
it was ridiculous.
It was. Kaz was an incredible negotiator, too.
You were horrible.
But he believed every word he said. When he claimed that he was gonna, or he didn't believe it, he believed when he said he was. When he said that he was, thought that he was an incredible negotiator, he believed that he was an incredible negotiator.
So your bluff score is just like through the roof. Because you are honestly stupid enough to buy anything that you say.
Well,
You bluffed yourself.
When he claimed that they were going to drop Rancors out of their ship onto your ship, he didn't believe it himself, but he thought he was a great negotiator, and he thought the reason you let him go was because he was such a great negotiator.
You make a great Abdastor.
So, nice Rooster Teeth reference there. Okay, so you want a little bit of wilderness. You want to kill your character off.
I don't necessarily want to kill my character off. I just don't see them do.
He
I
wants a
don't
way
see
for
how
us to
they
become
can-
back into the main campaign.
Well, Karaku is going to be gone for a little while,
We
so
can-
you could bring it in with Attar and Kajman.
We can create another separate campaign, but if
You're
we're going to
already
completely
running too
separate them, we don't even necessarily have to do it at the same time.
You could go back and work for that Mon Calamari fish guy.
Yes.
The one that was all like, I like the way you think. Keep doing that. Oh, you don't decide to wear pants this morning? Good on you. I appreciate your freedom.
He was the one that didn't wear pants.
What was that guy's name?
I don't even remember. I think you made it off the top of your head.
He was fantastic.
I
Didn't you
missed that
call
guy.
him Mark?
Yes,
it was Mark.
No, Mark was the Bothan.
Oh yeah, Mark was the Bothan that never dressed in any clothes.
No, he was.
He wore clothes. He just
didn't
talk.
talk.
Oh, he didn't. Well, then which one was the naked one?
There was no naked one, you fool! You're
Sorry.
listening to the campaign and you're just imagining all these various alien men walking around naked.
Well, you know, you got it's the Twi'leks, man. Those horn things that come out of the back of their heads.
They're
No,
Leku.
Scooby.
The,
No.
The what?
The Leku, the brain tails.
Oh, so
Just so
is
you
that
know,
where their
that
brains
yelling
are?
was him yelling at the dog.
We have a dog here.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, Leku, brain tails. You were thinking about naked Mon Calamari, Celestins, and Bothans and imagining them all with Leku. That's pretty twisted.
That sounds about right, actually. That's exactly what I was imagining.
Okay, now on a less disturbing note,
Oh, fine.
we've run into a few interesting adventures. We've had excellent chase scenes through the Coruscant Undercity. We robbed the Jedi Temple and stole an important Sith
And then
artifact.
blew it up.
We blew it up.
I blew it up.
We blew up the Sith Temple, the Jedi Temple, not the Sith artifact. We've done all these crazy stunts, and
Like riding off the back of a ship going down through the atmosphere.
Oh yes, Kaz has that grappling hook hand, or that hand that extends out on a rope that he can use as a grappling hook. and he hangs from a ship because he's got a spacesuit or like armor.
Yeah, but how about a re-entry suit? You got one of those? I don't know how you
Well,
made it.
he was doing that when he was in the atmosphere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes a little more sense.
The other time when
And he
you
was
were
hanging
holding
off the ship.
when you were holding on to the back of that guy's speeder when we were on the chase on Coruscant.
No, that was Rash'Leer.
Where
Rash'Leer
is
had
Ra-
the excellent scene where he jumped on the back of a Coruscant security speeder and somehow managed to hold on long enough to get inside, spear the Coruscant security officer with his tail, and then barely avoid crashing to a fiery death.
Well, another thing, you weren't there. You asked me to do a little bit of dungeon mastering while you had to go do something. And while you were gone, I was taking a few of us to go get to Navar'rog, and I had them be caught in a chase with some Republic soldiers.
By the way,
New
I'm just
New
gonna
Republic.
say this right now. The Disposable Pilot Man, he is a horrible dungeon master.
I agree.
He was having us raided by Mandalorian pirates.
No.
That caught up to
No,
us in hyperspace.
it was not Mandalorian pirates, and they did not get
Somehow
to
they caught up to us in hyperspace.
If you have a faster hyperdrive, that's not a problem. The only problem is you can't target anything in hyperspace.
Exactly, it's practically impossible.
They were waiting for you in the orbit, or in the solar. They were waiting for people in the solar system around the solar system of Kessel.
You want to get your story straight before you try and explain this?
No.
Okay.
He just wants to leave it open.
So, yeah, there was that.
So
Everyone
many
should
plot holes.
probably know
But-
that he's not the worst dungeon master here. I am.
Well,
You've
and-
never been through any training.
We need to have you dungeon master just one session with you as dungeon master, just to try it out and get a feel for it.
I don't think quickly enough. I wouldn't come up with creative stuff quickly enough.
Yeah, kind of like you're talking.
Yes.
That was very amusing. I think that everybody here just had a heart attack going, what's he gonna say? What's he gonna say?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I'd be a terrible dungeon master.
That's
we,
not nice,
we
dude.
could have worse dungeon masters.
Like me.
Like you.
I would just have a bunch of naked Twi'lek men running around.
Okay.
That's amusing. Well,
Topless Twi'leks on speeders.
we'd just like to thank you for listening to our first ever podcast. There might be one next week if we manage to somehow survive our own idiocy that long.
Yeah, we might swallow our own heads.
Or hands.
Or hands, for that matter.
Anyway, thanks for listening, folks, and
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
tune in next time to possibly hear Rash'Leer, maybe even Navar'rog.
Alright, see you guys.
I'm loving it.
Bye.